Good morning. I actually really want to thank Secretary Haymore for taking it easy on me this morning. He attributed some decrease in Virginia ag exports to some falling commodity prices. About a week ago, he blamed me in a room full of about 200 people. So thank you. Thank you very much.
True story. I actually had one guy come up to me and go, "Who's this Kellie Boles person?" I was serious.
And I did get follow-up emails saying, "I'm really sorry he called you out, but I guess that means he likes you." And maybe the jury's still out on that. So I want to take the opportunity. I've actually never spoken on the same podium with Secretary Haymore. So I'm going to take the opportunity to thank him and give him a lot of credit for what Virginia is doing in agriculture, and again, the importance that Virginia knows that agriculture plays in economic development. The governor always introduces Secretary Haymore and says he's the best Secretary of Agriculture ever in Virginia, and Todd's squirming right now in his seat. I've had the pleasure of being familiar with Secretaries of Agriculture in other states. I worked for one in another state, and I can say that Secretary Haymore is the best Secretary of Agriculture I have ever had the opportunity of working with. It helps when he says I'm his favorite ag development officer.
I have to reciprocate later on elsewhere.
It like evens out, so I don't have to write him a check.
Yeah, thank you.
So I came to Loudoun County, what is going on about 6 years ago. And when I came to Loudoun County Economic Development, it was a different culture. We were really about preserving open space, preserving land that we were going to sell as an asset when the department was selling Loudoun as a business location for Eastern Loudoun companies. Uh-oh, am I too far on?
Is it on?
It's on.
I broke it down.
Okay. So we worked, started about 6 years ago to change that culture. And we can attribute some of that change to Buddy Reiser. We changed from, isn't this a beautiful, scenic Western Loudoun, to we're developing businesses in our rural policy in Loudoun County. There's no resemblance to Buddy Reiser. The last time that I was here, or that I spoke to the chamber, was the end of 2012, and we were doing the rollout of our rural economy business development strategy. Tony, where are you? No offense taken that it's taken you 3 years to ask me back. It's cool. It's fine. I'm good with it. So what I wanted to do is give you an update about where we were in the strategy. We had 9 recommendations. One of the recommendations was to completely redesign loudonfarms.org and split the business development message from the marketing and promotions message. And we did that. Another recommendation was to create a branded rural business awareness program. We did that. Each of you have a bag at your seat that has our new brand on it. Susan Van Epps is not here. She's on the Rural Business Development team. She worked very closely with our Rural Economic Development Council, developed the brand. We love it. We're all branded now everywhere we go. Stickers, coasters, corkscrews, of course, beer bottle openers. One of the recommendations was to encourage the formation of the Loudoun County Trails Association. We formed the association. We're currently assisting that organization with the new enhancement from the Board of Supervisors for the next fiscal year. We'll be able to support those efforts a little bit more. We were to create a formal consulting and research network, and Bob Lazaro, you're up here. David, where's David? David is on there. This is a picture of when we went to North Carolina to Surrey Community College, which was a hoot, right, Dave? Right, Bob? We went down there to investigate their viticulture and enology education program at their community college. And this partners on with what Secretary Haymore was talking about with our planning grant. We went down there, we looked at what they were doing. We applied for an Aphid planning grant with a partnership with the town of Percival to really analyze the feasibility of doing some kind of viticulture and enology education center in Loudoun County. That's just one component of this formal consulting and research network. There are other pieces that when we developed the strategy, we didn't realize all the spider webs that were going to need to be woven to get the education to farmers and rural businesses in Loudoun. David just this morning gave me an update on where we stand with the viticulture and enology classes at Nova. Can you tell us?
We started last fall with 2, and at the moment of 20, we're up to 38 this semester. We're offering 6 new courses come fall, moving from just viticulture into winemaking and sensory perception, aka wine tasting. So we're looking, we've had a great response, and it's exceeded what we expected. And we're hoping to have within the next year our credentialing for degrees.
Another recommendation was to enhance marketing programs that improve the linkages between East and West. And we heard earlier about the communication. How do you communicate to Eastern Loudoun and how do you communicate to Western Loudoun? And this was part of that. And this is an ongoing effort with a lot of different events and activities. We have a really, really cool, awesome thing that's going to be rolling out with Loudoun County Public Schools that I can't tell you about yet, but it's super cool. I'm super excited about it. We're working in conjunction with the arts community in Western Loudoun, and we were supposed to do an event in conjunction with the Waterford Fair, but everybody knows that got stormed out, so we'll be engaging with them again next year. I'm so sorry that Supervisor Higgins isn't here, because that is him. We were to conduct a rural business owner survey, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. And that's really about building a baseline because we don't have really good numbers. We don't know what's out there. It's hard to develop additional strategies when we don't know what we have already and what needs work. The other recommendation on that slide ties in with it because we've developed an integrated approach to the equestrian industry. We need a master plan for the equestrian industry in Loudoun County. And you heard Brian note the recent equine owner survey, which shows a $180 million economic impact that the equestrian sector has on Loudoun County. That was sort of phase 1. That was baseline. What does it look like today? Where do we need help? Where do we need to focus efforts? We got great feedback from horse owners in actually giving us, not just checking the boxes and filling in the numbers. They actually gave us recommendations and where they need help to expand and grow their businesses. So we started with a baseline survey of equine. We'll be moving into other sectors of agriculture next. Again, the enhancement from the Board of Supervisors for next fiscal year allows us to move forward with that recommendation. The next layer on that equestrian industry master plan is that we are joined with Fauquier County, and we are doing a feasibility study to put a USDA equine quarantine facility associated with Dulles. We don't know where it will go, if it will go on airport property or will go somewhere else in Loudoun likely. But we have started that partnership. We have started moving forward with that feasibility study. One of the other recommendations was to develop a consolidated year-round farmers market. We completed that feasibility study. We're now at the point of finding private sector partners and funding. There'll be baskets at the door, so if you want to have any extra cash, you can drop it in there. The reason that the Silverline map is on there is because that's the area that we're looking at. We need high-density residential, high-density office to move people through a year-round destination farmers market. The last recommendation that we have not gotten to yet, and the only one we haven't done any work on yet, is assess the need for a Loudoun Ag and Rural Business Accelerator. And we will be actually partnering with PEC on that feasibility study, and we'll be doing it within the next 9 months. So when you talk about the state of Loudoun's rural economy, everybody wants to know the numbers. And I don't have an MBA, but I'm really still bad at math, so numbers are not my strong suit. But if you look at USDA, they say the value of our land, our machinery, and all the ag products we sell is about $117 million. But if you look at just the Virginia 2015 Commercial Grape Report, we grow about a little less than 1,400 tons of grapes, and those grapes market value are at about $2 million. When you turn those grapes into wine, that value goes up to about $36 million. Has anyone heard that we have more wineries in Loudoun than anywhere else in Virginia? Yeah. Again, the 2014 Loudoun Equine Owner Survey shows $180 million economic impact for the equine industry in Loudoun County. Everybody wants to quote USDA because those are the hard, solid numbers. USDA says we have just a little less than 1,400 farms in Loudoun County, but we have 5,000 parcels in county land use. So some kind of open space, agricultural forestry going on those lands, and those represent 3,000 landowners. So Secretary Haymore, do not tell Secretary Vilsack that I think his numbers are wrong. Again, the last time I spoke to the Chamber was the very end of 2012, and I want to talk about where we've come since 2012, the end of 2012. So in 3 years, our hops production has gone from 1 grower on 1 acre to 10 growers and 16 acres. Our malting grain was 0 growers, 0 acres. Today, 2 growers and 140 acres. Our grapes in 2012 were 662 acres. Today, they're 738 acres. We're growing the specialty crops. I'm going to talk again just very briefly because Secretary Haymore noted the 2 Aphid grants and incentive funds that we did. Those are value-added agriculture. Those are the missing pieces of infrastructure that we needed to put in place. Something has to happen to grain before it goes into beer and before it goes into distilled spirits. It wasn't an issue that we had with the wine industry. You went from the vineyard to making wine and nothing had to happen in between. The grain has to be malted. The hops have to be picked, dried, or pelletized, picked, dried, and cryovac. So we knew we had to put infrastructure in place in order to increase production in these very, very profitable specialty crops for Loudoun farmers. The craft beverages and value-added ag, we know that craft beverages are this sexy sector of ag. We know that. That's what everyone wants to talk about. This is what I want to talk about. This number actually blew me away when I looked it up. I actually thought our number was wrong in 2012. And I said, 2012 we had 32 wineries. Today we have 44. And I was like, where did they come from? And I was like, oh, we must be doing something right. 2012 we had 2 breweries. As of yesterday, we have 19. 2012 we had 1 distillery. Today we have 3. When I came to Loudoun 6 years ago, my goal was to have more wineries than Buddy Reiser had data centers. And then I realized after we started, it was short-sighted because it wasn't just about wineries, it was about the craft beverage industry. And so I was like, I'm too narrowly focused. We need to broaden this. It's about value-added craft beverages. So, Buddy, how many data centers do we have?
67.
Oh, Buddy! Oh, yeah, that is not right. Not right. I asked him yesterday, I even called him. It was like, I don't know what time it was.
Almost 5.
It was almost 5 o'clock, and I was like, man, I gotta get this. I gotta know if this is gonna fall flat. And so I said, Buddy, I was like, how many data centers? He said, more than 60. I was like, that's what you're gonna say tomorrow? He's like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. I was like, I'm calling you out. He's like, yeah, so what did he say? He looked at my number and then said, see what I gotta put up with? I put that picture on there because that is absolutely one of my most favorite pictures. I know Kate is here. Dirt Farm Brewing. No offense meant to Bluemont Vineyard, but I don't know how the view from Dirt Farm is better. How is that? I mean, I don't even know. I hate to say that, but it's amazing. It's just absolutely incredible. We've experienced. This is just anecdotal. This is just a snapshot of where we've come since 2012. We've had business expansions. My very good friend and wonder twin, Doug Fabiola, is in the room. I would drive up as Doug was putting this tasting room up, and you can't drive in the farm lane without driving right into the new tasting room. And to an economic developer, before you hit it. I'm a really bad driver, so Doug knows. That's to an economic developer, that construction is just, we feel that. And so every time I drove into Fabiola Seller's Vineyard and saw every piece of that tasting room going up. That was a piece of me, and I had something to do with that, and everybody in this room had something to do with that. And it's beautiful, it's amazing, and it's our farms that are thriving because of this economic development. Another business expansion, Tyler Wegmeyer. Everybody know Tyler? Strawberries and pumpkins. Started with strawberries and pumpkins, has expanded into other vegetables and CSA. Last year, actually installed 2 additional pick-your-own operations in Loudoun County, one at Gilbert's Corner and one at Oatlands. He does an amazing job with strawberries. It's not just our craft beverage industry that's expanding in Loudoun. The business diversification, this is CEA Farms out in Hillsborough, the second hydroponic operation in the county. Donnie is doing all kinds of vegetables. He's actually now talking about needing more production space. He's only been open just about a year and a half, I think, not even 2 years. So he's talking about actually needing to double his production space in the greenhouse. And we keep talking about the business attraction piece. Black Hops Farm, that's integral to getting more farmers to grow hops. Pilot Malt House, again, it's the malting grain is probably the best opportunity for our commodity row crop farmers in the last 100 years. We struggle all the time in agriculture to do something for those traditional farmers. We can't figure it out. This helps them. They don't have to transition all 1,000 acres of grain. They can transition 100, and they can scale up to it. Loudoun Economic Development on the rural side was not really doing outbound business development. We've gone to IPPE, which is a protein processing expo in Atlanta, second year in a row, with Virginia Department of Ag. Last year, we went to the Craft Brewery Conference in Portland. We won Pilot Malt House because we went to Portland. We're going to go to Philly. Stan and Wiley, you're gone? You're both gone?
Oh, yeah.
All right, you'll be there. It's beer, but it's work. Somebody has to do it. Our farmers are being nationally recognized. Andrew Crush is on your left. He was named one of the 2016 Best Young Farmers and Ranchers from the Progressive Farming magazine. Chris Van Black is on the right. He won the American Farm Bureau Discussion and Meat Award this year. Tyler Wegmeyer, again, won the 2016 Bear Young Sustainable Farmer Award. I'm going to close, and I'm probably out of time, right? I tried to do this fast. I'm closing by saying there are some bosses that will go out on a limb for you, but very few will climb a tree with a broken leg for you. This didn't happen because I'm standing here. It happened because I have a team that supports me. Thank you, Buddy. Thank you, Cassie, Brian, Lois, everyone in economic development. Thank you to the Rural Economic Development Council. The Rural Business Strategy is their strategy, and I'm helping them implement that strategy. Thank you to the Board of Supervisors, who are very, very supportive of economic development and agricultural economic development, understand that ag is economic development, and building businesses on our farms is what sustains our farms and what keeps our farms in agriculture. So anyone who hasn't been out to the farms, you have a great opportunity coming up. The Spring Farm Tour is May 21st and 22nd. What I want to leave you with is, alpacas take great selfies. Chickens don't.